Morning, even afternoon. We got a banger for y'all today, baby. You probably have seen some of the drama between Nadeshot and Froste. Well, I went live the next day and some people said, Tim, what do you think about it? So here's what I think about it. If you do enjoy this, drop a like, share it with a friend, ring the bell. Most importantly, be sure to tell somebody you love them. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. I saw someone in chat ask, what my opinion on the Froste and Nadeshot drama is. I think the first word that comes to mind is it was just it looked messy, bro. It did. Whips goes anyways. I think it's interesting, bro, because obviously I've known Matt for a very long time and I also knew the mob. So it's like the mob was like, back when I streamed on Twitch, bro, like OG days, like less than 100 viewers, like they would just come into my stream, bro. Like that, it was Avalanche, an Ace Thug. I don't even know if anyone even remembers him. I don't even know if he was technically part of the mob. Mako, like all those dudes, bro. And Mako was one of my mods, and he was part of the mob. You know what I mean? And spicy drama, that's for sure. I mean, dude, the problem is, like, I love Matt and I love the guys at the mob. So, but like, and one thing I've kind of just learned in general is you don't mix, like, it's hard to mix business and friendship. It's hard to explain. Like, it's like tough, dude. But I mean, at the end of the day, bro, like, Matt signed the mob to 100 Thieves. And I think that was a very good thing because he was kind of taking a chance on them. And, as far as the like, whatever the contracts looked like, whatever that was, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Matt talked about it a little bit, but at the end of the day, like the guys at the mob decided to sign that contract. That was what they decided to agree to. So it's like, it kind of feels like tough love, but it's like hard. It's hard to be like, well, if you didn't like the contract, you probably shouldn't have signed it. Right. So it was, it was some spicy drama last night, man. I'll say that. And I think at the end of the day, it's sad. It's sad for me to watch it because I like both parties. You know what I mean? Like, I like the guys at the mob, and I know it was mainly Froste that was kind of going off, and it's like I love Matt, so it's like I'd rather see them not fight. You know what I mean? So. Tim, what happened? I mean, it's a whole thing. You can look it all up. Froste made some tweets about how I'll try and like sum it up. It's essentially that Froste felt that it was a bad time at 100 Thieves and felt like Matt personally, I guess, could have treated him. And he keeps like generalizing everyone, but no one else is really saying anything. I mean, the mob, it's Classy, Froste, Avalanche, Mako. That's them. It's lame and no one cares. I mean, there were like 50,000 people watching Matt last night talk about it. It was pretty crazy, bro. It was pretty crazy to watch, but like Froste's the one that's talking about it the most, obviously. Now, if Mako, Classy, or Ava feel some way, they're not really saying anything. So it's kind of like, Doc goes, who's Froste and the mob? Who cares? 8th grade drama, not even worth being talked about. Dr. Disrespect. Well, there's Doc's take on it, guys. I mean, fucking Doc, man. I mean, the only reason I'm kind of talking about is because, like, the guys in the mob, like, I've known them for so long on Twitch, bro. And Mako was a huge part of my community years and years ago, bro. He was a mod. He was in my stream every day. And then he kind of did his own thing. And I love to see it. Common Doc W. I mean, you're right, Doc. I mean, and me talking about it, it's like, here's the thing, man. And obviously I'm part owner in Complexity, but I'm not like structuring contracts, right, with people that Complexity's signing. You know what I mean? I'm not really in that discussion. I want to see Complexity do well. I want to put my hashtag time in and try to make Complexity the best gaming organization it possibly can. And just give, in any way, shape, and form I can, right? So, but I'm not in there like, okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Like, that's a completely different like side of it. So I don't know if Matt is personally involved with that with 100 Thieves, but it's like when you start getting into that, I mean, that's above my pay grade. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do that shit. But it's hard, man. It's hard because, like I said, I think Matt really gave those guys kind of a shot. You know what I mean? Took a chance. That's a good way to explain it. And the mob, they had, but in the same breath, like the mob was their own thing, you know, before 100 Thieves. You know what I mean? And so when I saw it happen, I thought it was great. I thought it was going to be a great idea. I'm like, you got the mob and you got 100 Thieves kind of coming together, and obviously I knew they knew knowing each other for so long. I was like, this could be great. And it's just sad, man. It's sad to see like friendships like get ruined and tarnished over some stuff with like everything that Froste was saying and then everything that Matt was saying. I saw a clip of Matt talking about, which house was it that Matt was in, bro? Anyone remember? I can't remember the name, bro. Someone literally just said Gryffindor. Guys, please, man. The Optic House, right? The OG Optic House. And Matt brought up the Optic House and what that was like and how, and to those guys' credit, man, it was him. Who was it? I think it was Merc, wasn't it? It was fucking Matt, Merc, Big Timer, Scump. Wasn't that it? And, I mean, Matt, dude, those guys were grinding. And Matt said that because he didn't want to go back to McDonald's. And he was right, man. Like those guys on fold out chairs and fold out, you know, desks were trying to make content and do the best they could with what they were given, right? And at the end of the day, I think that's just a very important thing, especially with content creation in general and where you're at now. I think that's just a good message to live by. It's like with what you got, you want to make the best of it, right? I mean, I'll use myself as an example. My very first streaming PC I ever built was $800. I obviously worked, and I kind of had about $1,000 that I could kind of play with. And I built an $800 PC, but then I didn't have a setup. So I bought a desk from like Walmart for $15. I got my chair out of a dumpster. My very first stream chair was out of a dumpster, literally. I saw, you know that saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. My very first, my chair was out of a dumpster, and I knew I wanted to make content, and I tried to make it work any way I could, and I wanted to stream, right? So I took basically all that with also, and while I was doing this, working 40 to 50 hours a week as well, right, at the start, and I just knew that it was something I loved to do, and I wanted to sink time into it. It was like, I don't even know how to explain it. This might be a good thing for new content creators to know, to see if you're really enjoying what you're doing. There were times where it's like, and I'm not necessarily saying this is a good thing, but there were times where I wanted to stream so bad that like I wouldn't hang out with my friends like on a weekend or some shit like that. And my friends at the time, they were kind of like, dude, like, what are you doing? You're streaming to 2 people. You're streaming to 3 people. Like, come hang out, come, you know, party, whatever. But I was like, dude, I can't explain it, but my drive to do this is so high that it was all I wanted to do, even in my downtime after working like a 50-hour work week, right? So I still talk to those friends, by the way, just for the record. And, but the point I'm making here is when I first started out, I tried everything in my power to make it work with everything that I had. Does that make sense? And I think that is a very important thing to mention. And that's what Matt kind of touched on with the McDonald's and him and the OG Optic House and how we got what we had and we had to make it work. It's kind of all I can really say. So it's just to sum up my thoughts on the Nadeshot versus Frosty. It's sad to see because I love both parties. I love all the guys at the mob. I love Matt, obviously. So it's sad for me to see them. It's almost like a Nick Merckx 2.0 thing here for me. It's like I love Nick and I love Matt, and I'm just kind of like feel like I'm like the like I'm the kid whose parents got like split up or something, man. You know, it's like, dude, it's like these are like two guys that I love, and they're just like, they're butt heads. I'm like, well, but so it's like, you know, I love both the parties, Avalanche, Mako, you know, Classy, Frosty. They're all good dudes, man. And Matt with 100 Thieves, and what Matt did with 100 Thieves is really cool to see as well. And it's just sad to see like all this negativity come out of it. I'll say that. So I wish that did not happen. So what did I miss? I'm not really going to keep talking about it here. All I'll say is just go look it up. Go look up Nadeshot versus Frosty. and you guys can read it and see for yourself. But I really do, you know, at the end of the day, man, years and years ago when I started out, I'll just use myself, like I said, as the example. All I'll say is when I was trying to make streaming happen, and I love doing it so much, and my passion for it was so much, that I did everything I could to make streaming happen. To the extent of getting a chair out of a dumpster and you know, ditching some of my friends on the weekends, even though I only had 2 viewers, and they're like, why are you even bothering streaming? There's no one there. But it was something I just knew that I loved doing, and that ambition is, I think, a very important thing. When you're a newer creator, man, you know, not that you should obsess fully over it. Obviously, you got your relationships in real life. That's very important. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not always easy. Like to get started in content creation, it's not easy. So, especially this day and age, because there's so many people trying to do it. So I hope the best for y'all out there. Truly, God bless and good luck.